So you described the decision to return as the best decision of your life. But you also said what you like most about being in Denver was the freedom that comes with anonymity.
Yes.
And so how are you adjusting to that lack of anonymity and freedom?
Well, that was a time I really needed my freedom and my anonymity because my kids were young and they were just growing up, and I wanted to spend that time with them. I wanted to be away from the, limelight. But I used to come back, and I've done a lot of work even after marriage. Films like Hum Tumhare Hai Sanam, Lajja, Devdas, all were done after I got married. But that was the time I needed for my kids. They need that time from me. And I wanted to be with them, nurture them, because that's the time when you can really give them your values. It's important to spend time with them to get that bond, with them and stuff. And now they're grown up, they are a little more independent. They make decisions, some of the things that they want to do and stuff. And I thought, maybe this is the time when we can actually make the move where they're old enough and yet they're young enough that they can adjust to a new place.
Old enough to understand that their mother is a star and it comes with certain
Yes, and young enough that, we can move from one country to another, and it's not like a life-changing experience for them. It's kind of a smoother transition because they're younger and they can, adapt to a new environment.
Not being able to just run out to the ice cream parlor with mom?
Well, yeah, they miss that a little bit. And what they miss most is the space in Denver. In Mumbai, it's very crammed, there are not very many parks to play outside. And I think that's what they miss about Denver, the space where they could, go out and play.
And things to do in Denver.
Yeah, exactly. But here, they're as busy as they were there. They're learning to play the tabla, they're learning squash, and they're learning swimming, and they're also doing a lot of stuff.
So now, I'm not going to call it your comeback movie because I know you don't like that idea because you never left movies,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Exactly. But the movie that you did in 2000, it's a great movie, but it didn't do that well in the box office. And now you have two other movies slated for release, which is Gulab Gang and Ded Ishqiyan.
Yes.
So what did you learn from the experience of Aaja Nachle?
See, Aaja Nachle was not the only flop film in my life. There were other also which didn't do very well. But the thing is that because it was the only film that I did, not with any other film, that was the only film that I did, that people remember it and, they'll always talk about it. But what I think is with every experience like that, you learn. But what happens in filmmaking, you cannot really predict the success of a movie. I think as a plot, I selected something that was close to my heart, and something that is happening today. People are moving away from our Indian styles of dancing. They're adopting more the Western styles and stuff. So I thought it was very close to what was happening. But sometimes I don't know. It's something that goes wrong, and you cannot really predict what's going to happen with a movie.
Do you have a different criteria now than, let's say, when you started and you were younger in how you choose roles and scripts, different things that you look for?
Well, I'm looking for scripts that will be challenging, roles that will be challenging, and something that excites me, something that I feel will give me an opportunity to do something new. So, that's what I'm looking for.
Right, which is sort of more than just sort of playing the pretty girl or sort of the love interest or something like that.
Well, I think if you see my career span, I think I'm way ahead. I cannot be playing those roles anymore. Because those will have no depth to them. I need scripts that are with depth and in which I can show the kind of talent that I have.
And this is the right time for it, right? Suddenly in the last couple of years, you've had very, very strong, successful movies that are women-centric. And so...
Also, I think the audience is also mature and they're ready to accept those kind of films. Filmmakers are coming forward and making those kind of films. The budgets are allowing them to do that. The kind of theaters we have facilitated because they're multiplexes, and you can kind of make a film for a niche audience and make a film that cater to a particular audience. So, and you can plan it that way. So a lot is happening in the Indian film industry, and that's why I said that I'm here at the right time, I think.
Yeah. But given that, and you have a lot of really talented actresses now looking for those kind of roles, whether it's you or a Vidya Balan or a Karishma Kapoor or a Sridevi who also has a release out. Given that the audience remains fairly male dominated and male oriented, how many kahanis can there possibly be in a year? I mean, how many roles do you think, or do you think the appetite is much bigger? This is just the tip of the iceberg. Is that what you think?
I think it's taking a leap today, Indian film industry. And I think the leap is for better films with better content, something different for everyone. And so I'm very hopeful, and I think about it very positively.
So you think there is a very strong possibility we could have an Indian Meryl Streep, who at the age of 60, or a Helen Mirren who's, playing a sexy or sexual or strong woman and carries the weight of a movie on her, whether it's like, The Devil Wears Prada or something like that?
Well, I don't know if we are there yet, but yes, definitely we'll get there.
Now, in an essay on your career, which was in this really great collection of essays edited by Bhai Chand Patel, it was called The 20 Greatest Stars of Bollywood. So on the essay on you, Shefali Vasudev described you as the inventor of Hindustani sexy. And what she said was that you combined a sensuality with a certain innocence and Indianness, which was very, very different from previous models of being sexy, which tended to be very westernized, like say Zeenat Aman. And in many ways, someone like Katrina Kaif doing Sheila Ki Jawani is an heir to that legacy, right? But do you think we've gone too far, where almost every leading actress has to kind of do some kind of raunchy?
I think the kind of sensuousness that I portrayed on screen was not in your face. It was very in my dance. When I learned Kathak, it's called Lasya. Lasya is shyness, and it portrays a sensuousness but with shyness. It's called Lasya. And so I think every individual brings a different personality on the screen, and every actress has a different personality. That's the persona I got to the screen, but there are other personas as well. So you cannot really generalize and say, oh, this is the ideal, or this is not the ideal, So I think it's just personalities and how people look at them and their perspective of what sexy is.
But do you think there's pressure to look sexy, that you must look sexy, you must be able to carry off an item number
I don't
today?
know. No, I don't think it's necessary to do that. I think sensuousness doesn't need a dance number to get it through. It could be just your personality, the way you are, Doesn't have to be a dance number. That's what I think.
Right. So you think the pressure is more perceived than real?
Yes.
What is your reaction to Dirty Picture?
I thought it was a brilliant movie. It was a very nice movie, very well made. It was about, sexiness and everything.
Right.
And yet, and the dialogues were also like, oh my God, did she really say this? But it was done with a purity and sincerity. And that was not missed, by the people, because it was made from the heart. And I thought it was a very, very good movie.
Would you do that role?
I don't know. I don't know. That's exactly what I thought about after seeing the movie. And I really don't have an answer. I don't know if I would have done it. Maybe I would have said, no, I think it's a little too risky for me. But I don't know, really.
Now, given your age, and actually more importantly that you have kids, right, and you're married, would you do a very sort of, not even I'm saying in a Dirty Picture sort of movie, but a role that is very sexual or erotic or built around a woman's sexual desire or sexuality?
You just cannot say yes or no to that, because I need to know what the script is, how the treatment is, what the director is wanting, and how he's going to treat the whole subject. I just cannot say yes or no right now, just because you ask me a question. No. I would definitely give it a listen. Yeah. I would hear it. But then, my aesthetics come in and I would be like, maybe not now, or, whatever. So.
Do you think that's liberating as well? That an older woman can be seen as sexual and sexy and sensual?
See, I don't perceive age as in age per se, but I think your talent, is what you are at any age.
Mm.
You know, whether you're 16, whether you're 20, 30, your talent is not going to go away. And that's something you'll always have. And so for me, that is very important than just the age factor. You know, everybody's talking about age and aging and this and that. But I think it's what you can bring on, you know,
So
at any age
is a
with
number.
your, yeah, age is just a number for me.
Well, you're one of M.F. Hussein's most famous muses, and his demise was a great tragedy and was mourned by many as a loss to the nation, but also a greater loss that he died in exile from his own land. What's your reaction to that as someone who, to both his death and to the attacks on him?
Well, I think there will be extreme people in the world. There's nothing you can do about that. But him as a person, he was very nice. He was a genuine well-wisher of mine. So when he passed away, I really felt the loss because he genuinely wished me well, and the same, for him. And but he was, a maverick. He was like. I just looked at him and I thought, oh gosh, I wish I will be like this at 95, still going, And that was what was wonderful about him. Like the age factor that I was talking. Talent is talent, at whatever age.
And he remained young at heart.
Absolutely.
All through his life. Remo D'Souza said, one of the great tragedies is that young people don't want to learn Indian classical dance anymore. They want to learn Western dances. Or rather, that's the tendency.
Who said that? I'm sorry.
Remo D'Souza.
Okay.
Yeah. And yet, and maybe let me know if I have this wrong. Your mother wasn't allowed to learn dance.
Yes, when she was growing up, my mom was growing up at a time when dance was like, oh, no. A girl from good family doesn't dance. And she was allowed to sing though. She learned Hindustani classical music, but she was never allowed to dance. So when she was growing up, she was very clear that when I have kids and I have daughters, I'm going to, I'm going to teach them dancing, and I'm going to make sure that they know how to dance.
Right, and so it seems sort of ironic that you learning to dance was a great achievement, learning Kathak, and yet today, when dance is considered great, people get excited at that.
The thing with classical dancing is it needs a lot of practice. It takes time to learn. You cannot just go to a class for 3 months and say, I've learned it. Because it's never ending. Even today, I can't say I have learned how to dance Kathak, because there's so much innovation you can do with whatever you know. There's so many things you can do with what you know that it's never ending. And I think today, the kids have lesser patience. They want to do everything, really fast and overnight, nearly. But I would say that, our classical dances are beautiful. They have so much, they're so rich in the culture that they're beautiful. I mean, they should just try and learn, have a little bit of patience, and they can do so much more,